What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Shock and Awe Toy Reviews. Two idiots and some friends. I'm Wilson. Sitting to my left is
Mr. Berg.
And to my right,
Toast.
Now, we are all high as hell. Why are we high? Well, I smoked some weed. I smoked some weed, and the other two guys have inhaled the paint from these guys.
Boilers.
We are reviewing what?
We are reviewing Super 7's William Stout, Master of the Universe Classics, He-Man 4-pack, or set of 4 figures from the He-Man Master of the Universe live-action film.
Starring the best Punisher ever, Dolph Lundgren.
That's right.
All right, so here they are. We're going to take a look at all of them in one review and give our quick thoughts.
As quick as we can.
Okay.
Just
as it goes.
We'll see how it goes. So, boom, here they are. You have, let me get their names right because they got goofy names. Rebel Leader He-Man.
Really?
Yes. God Skeletor.
Love it.
Commander Karg. And Dark Despot Skeletor.
Just not a regular Skeletor.
Well, I think the reason they're named this is because for the longest time people wanted movie toys.
Yeah.
And we got the 3 movie toys in the Mattel line because Mattel had the rights to them, but they didn't have the rights to any movie guys who weren't actually in the original toy line.
Gotcha.
So Mattel had always said, there's no way we can ever make these guys. Just, we don't have that license. That license isn't a thing we can do. Never going to happen. Super 7 somehow went, oh, but if we go to the He-Man art book from William Stout or Stout, whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh, yeah.
We can do the movie art book versions and get them as close to possible as to a movie figure without them actually being movie figures. So that is why this guy doesn't look like Dolph Lundgren.
You're right.
And that is why, if you were to bother, I don't really care, look at this guy from the movie and this version, he's not accurate to the movie.
Gotcha.
Because he doesn't, I don't believe he has any gold on him in the movie.
I don't remember him even being in the movie.
Yes. So that is a little secret history, is somehow Super 7 was like, aha, there's an art book, we can make these guys. And Rick, who has wanted this Skeletor and this He-Man since he saw the movie in 1987 with his grandmother, finally was like, awesome. And I got Karg because he's cool. And holy shit, a brick of gold.
Yeah.
If you are unfamiliar with Super 7, they're another toy company who makes toys.
Yeah. And
all their shit is really expensive because they make them in small numbers, and they make them, especially the He-Man stuff, to order.
So you've gotten the Super 7 Thundercats before, right?
No, those were
was
Mattel.
Right.
Yeah.
So
is this the first Super 7 for all of us?
This is the first Super 7 for all of us.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, Super 7, I mean, I guess we could say it's a relatively small company in comparison. Like, they're not the kind of company that you can go out and find their toys in the store.
You can, or you could. The Retro Action guys.
Okay, those guys, but I'm talking about ones like this.
These ones, no.
Yeah, and that's why they're expensive.
Yes.
Because it's adult collectibles.
Correct. Mattel lost the license or gave up the license, and Super 7 swooped in and got them, and you're getting all kinds of figures that you never got from Mattel, which is great, like these guys. Yeah. So anyway, if you're familiar with the Mattel ones, they're almost exactly like the Mattel guys. If you're not, these have slightly better sculpts, but then again, these are sculpted to look like movies as opposed to the other ones supposed to look like the toys. So the sculpt on these guys is a lot more detailed than you would get on any other of the, or at least any of the Mattel guys I have.
The sculpt is impressive.
Sculpting wise, there's all kinds of little details and goofiness in the armor pieces for all 3 guys that usually the Mattel ones didn't get that detailed, but then they weren't going for that type of aesthetic. I think all the sculpt work is really, really nice. Like his buckle's really done nice, and all the little bits and pieces on his belt. His legs have all these crazy little details that you would have to do in a live action, otherwise it looks boring and plain.
Mm-hmm.
So he looks really good. So Skeletor has crazy details, and his face looks almost exactly like Frank Langella, but they can't use Frank Langella's face.
I think that looks all exactly like the face to me.
But it's the makeup. It's not.
Yeah, right. It's not his face.
So, great details on all four. From the neck down, both Skeletors are exactly the same, just painted differently. God Skeletor has his crazy end battle head sculpt. I would argue, I can't tell, that the faces underneath are probably exactly the same sculpt.
Probably.
But I don't know for sure. Paint-wise, they're all pretty good paint-wise. There's Karg, and he's got some wonderful ruffle detail in his skirt, and his hair's particularly nice.
His cape is hard.
His cape is hard.
Yes.
It's one of the weird inconsistencies that we will bring up.
Okay.
Bad ears.
Because basically, He-Man's is the only cloth one.
Correct.
Cloth.
Gold. Skeletor is all just gold. He has some nice paint and details on his face. He's got a red thing, red gem, but all the rest of him is just gold. It's all the same color gold. He-Man has got some weathering in his armor bits, and he's got a few pieces of his belt picked out here and there, a couple of belt buckles. His hair's okay. Probably could use another wash, but then it's really hard to do a blonde hair, especially 80s Dolph Lundgren blonde hair.
Yeah.
Skeletor has tons of paint, almost every little belt buckle and detail all over every skull, all this stuff. There's reds, there's golds, all over, just picked out, really nicely done. His staff.
I'd say he's got the most paint.
And
the best, too.
Looks really nice. There's even kind of, I don't know if it shows, but there's like...
Oh, yeah,
red tint and
shades, yeah.
Shades in his hood. Looks awesome in person. Very cool. Karg has the same type of stuff. He's got some golds in yellow, and look at that face sculpt in those eyes. Looks awesome. For some reason, he's coming out way whiter than he is in real life.
The only thing I want to mention on the paint, and I mentioned it at the beginning, is the smell.
That's just the smell of the plastic.
That's not the paint.
Well, it's all of it.
Right, but I'm just saying, God Skeletor smells like I just opened a can of paint thinner and it inhaled. Like, I mean, it was potently strong.
Yeah.
I think it's already passed, but
at the beginning, it hits you hard, and
when
that's just
first
weird.
Opened.
That's just weird, you know.
They have a strong new toy smell
Yes.
that is not pleasant like some other new toys.
Yeah.
Right.
Very
Makes
pungent.
me believe there's a lot of lead.
Yeah.
This.
Sure.
Okay.
Because lead smells?
Yeah, didn't you know?
Right.
That's why you have to have people. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
so articulation, they all have the same joints except for two special ones, which we'll get to. Some of them are more limited than others, like these guys, he has a hard time turning his head because of his cloak, and their legs are somewhat, the three guys with skirts, their hips are somewhat hindered by their skirt flaps, but that's nothing new with any toy ever.
Because the skirts are hard plastic.
Harder plastic, yes.
Well, they're soft-ish plastic.
Soft-ish plastic. And Karg's shoulder pads pretty much completely negate most of his upper arm movement. Like...
Oh, wow.
It kind of works.
Yeah. But, so they all have ball-jointed heads. There you go. They all have ball-jointed shoulders, bicep swivels, single-joint elbow, ball-jointed wrists, waist ab crunch, waist swivel, ball-jointed hips, single knees, and ball-jointed feet.
It's very Marvel Legends layout, kind of.
Yes.
Now, can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
If you're disappointed you didn't get double elbows and double knees?
None of the other guys had them, so
Okay.
I was not expecting them. The new He-Man guys that are coming out are going to have all kinds of that shit. And,
Animated?
yeah.
Okay.
The one guy who has different articulation for some reason is Karg, and he has boot swivel, which is cool. A few of the guys with boots like that in the other line, in the Mattel line, have boot swivel, but the majority of them don't, that I can remember. I could be wrong. It's been a really long time since I've played with them. They've been boxed up for 2 or 3 years.
Is he missing any articulation that the others have?
He does not. His hook swivels, but there's no bend or tilts.
Okay.
So
I was just wondering why they threw the boots in on him as opposed to.
I think the other
probably due to the sculpt.
Shin guards.
Yeah. I understand He-Man, but I can't see Skeletor's.
Skeletor.
Okay.
Just has a normal boot.
Right.
Actually, no. I think maybe
done that though.
They could have, but it would have cost more. In the end run, they're as articulated as the Mattel ones. They're pretty standard articulation for this size figure.
Alrighty, moving on to the stuff they come with.
So, He-Man comes with whatever portrait this is. I believe this is the comic style face. And he comes with the I'm not Dolph Lundgren face. I could be wrong but I believe that's what
Sorry to interrupt, but you know what I think would be interesting is to find the sketches that they used and see if the sculptings look like the sketches.
I bet you they do.
Yeah.
I bet you you're right. That's a good thought.
Good thought. He said I had a good thought.
He also comes with the movie version of the Power Sword, the Eternian blaster that he uses, and then he comes...
Shit, you remember the name?
He comes with a dagger, and then he comes with what I can only assume is a letter opener.
An ice pick?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's another knife, but it's like a tiny throwing dagger.
So the funny part is, neither hand is sculpted to even come close to holding this.
Something that small.
Right.
Neither
hand is sculpted to hold this blade. This blade I actually remember being in his. This can fit on his holster. The gun can fit on the holster. The sword can fit on the holster on the back of him, and he can hold the sword just fine. And he can hold the gun just fine. I don't remember him ever having a mini knife, using a mini knife. Please, someone, Yarmo, who loves this movie as much as I do, remind me where the hell this came from, or is this just in the art book, or what, or the movies?
What was her? Courtney Cox?
Yeah.
Tries to kill him with that.
Does she eat the fried chicken with it?
Yeah.
So, he comes with some weapons.
Does that fit between his fingers or anything?
Nope.
No?
No.
That's strange.
I haven't found where it stores on him yet.
Boot?
I did not see a boot holster.
So anything we may have been saying about the dagger is wrong, Mr. Berg.
Here's a holster right here. Apparently, it's right there in the boot. I just never noticed it until just now. But you want to see a funny trick, kids?
Pulls it like a champ.
Yep. And for some reason, he has a cloth cape, which, to my memory, is the first time any He-Man toy has a cloth accessory. Every other cape I remember being a huge clunky piece of plastic.
How do you feel about the cape?
I hate it. All right, and then Karg comes with a knife.
Oh, it's a Raphael sword.
Or a hook or something. I don't know. He can hold it. I don't remember this being in the movie. Again, it might be from the art. And then he comes with another Eternian blaster. I don't remember him using this one. I remember him having the He-Man one. I could be totally wrong.
Again, I don't remember him being in the movie.
Right.
I barely remember them using blasters now.
Yes.
I've never seen the movie.
Yeah, you win. Neither one has a place to store on him when he's not holding it, so he can only ever hold one. Regular Skeletor comes with his power staff, which, as I mentioned before, has great paint and detail on it. He comes with his version of the power sword, or whatever sword he uses in the movie. And then he comes with the key, the cosmic key, that they use to transport and go between different worlds.
That's what that is? Okay.
It looks like a Borg arm.
It also has really good paint. There's little tiny red dots and stuff picked out. Neither of these guys will ask or know to ask. I'm pretty sure it's the same sculpt that we got when we got this with one of the other movie guys. But I can't confirm or deny that because I didn't get Gwildor, so I don't know if Gwildor came with this.
Is Gwildor the little dwarf?
Gwildor is Orko, big-eared guy.
Oh, fuck.
And I don't remember if I have this or not, or if it's different. But it looks as accurate as I can remember it to the source material that I don't know, because I don't have that art book, or if it, I don't even know if it was an art book. It might just be the production sketches or whatever. If you stick this little plastic strap in his hand, he can kind of hold it. Otherwise, he can't hold it at all. He can hold the sword just fine. He also has no place to store his sword anywhere when he's not holding it, and he will never have this, so it's just going to be there. Oh, look at that. All right, and then here comes Accessory King. So here you go. Ready? Bam. God Skeletor comes with a gold staff.
And a contact high, though.
And a contact high. He comes with nothing else. But I don't think in this version he uses anything other than that, so I'm not surprised. Could he have had an energy effect or blast or something? Sure.
Still get the staff, I guess.
I get the staff. That's what he came with, yeah. Or that's what he had. That's what he used.
For size, we got, you said they're 7-inch scale.
They're 6-inch scale, but they're very clearly 7-inch figures.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Ragnarok is 7 inches.
Yes. This is a 6-inch Star Wars Hasbro Black Mandalorian. 7
really
inch.
7, calling it 6.
Mattel always said it was a 6-inch scale, but they're very clearly 7 inches tall.
How tall is Dolph?
Oh shit, son. There we go. He's passing the 1 foot test. Kinda.
He passed it for a while.
We've been playing with the others. Any
I don't
success?
think Skeletors are too heavy, and their articulation is too restricted.
Toast, can you get He-Man?
I can't.
Okay.
I think He-Man's joints are too loose. Spoilers.
All right, time to get down to the bottom line. We are going to actually rate each one of these figures individually. The way you can get them, they're gone now, right? Like,
you had to pre-order them. They might be available on their site. I don't know how Super 7 works, but they only made a certain amount, and then that's done. And they had them up for pre-order for like 2 months.
Okay, so...
But the pre-orders are like 6 months in advance.
Yes, and they are available on other sites because like Big Bad Toy Store bought them.
Right, so you could get one...
You can still get them singly now, but they cost more.
Okay, so that's why we're doing it. We're going to do it that way, because you can still get them individually.
It's like $38 a figure with shipping.
Okay.
The Mattel guys, when there was a Mattel, were originally 25, and then the last wave was like 30. Starting
off, there's 2 kind of reviews that I really enjoy. I love doing all the reviews, but the kind that I like the most are when we do a toy that's not my toy, and also a toy that I would probably never buy or ever think to buy, just because it's something new and different. These guys are very much a mixed bag. As much as I remember, I was a huge He-Man fan as a kid, mainly the cartoon. I remember kind of liking the movie. I remember nothing about the movie. So, like I said, don't even remember this guy. Kind of remember him. Obviously, I remember Skeletor, but he looked different. And Dolph Lundgren was Dolph Lundgren. These guys are a mixed bag, ranging from kind of shitty to like kind of fucking cool. So I'm going to give Skeletor, from what I've seen, a 4. This guy gets a 3. Gold Skeletor gets a 3, almost a 2.5, just because he's kind of bland, I think. And He-Man gets a 3. He-Man I'm ranking so low because he's got the only soft good cape, and it's badly cut. There looked to be an unevenness right here. That's a problem. It is extremely thin. It reminds me of, if you remember back in the day, like the DC's like Superman and Batman, where they had the capes that you could clip around their neck.
The superpowers.
Yeah, right? Like that's the kind of cape. It just feels very cheap. And I don't like that he's got 2 accessories that he can't hold. One is it's a waste. And the one head that he's holding in his hand, I think, looks absolutely horrendous. I don't like the sculpt of it at all. But again, I'd like to see it compared
I think
to
the two heads are pretty similar.
Yeah, they're both bad.
One's kind of frowning.
Yeah. One's kind of bad, one's really bad. Gold Skeletor, yeah, it's cool. He's really stinky. Unfortunately, him and the other Skeletor are limited with their articulation. This guy I don't like. He's stupid, and his cape is extremely hard. Like, it doesn't move at all. There's no flexibility there. And then Skeletor, this one, the reason he's so high is because he's painted the best. He's got the best paint, probably the most paint, and I love Skeletor, and this would be like the movie version I would want. Like, if I was thinking of spending that much money on this, I would buy one, but I think they're overpriced. Like, these guys can't move their legs forward or backwards. That's the problem. They look awesome, but they are a little bit boring.
I'm going 2.5 hammers for the whole wave, for different reasons.
I've been told that's an average toy. That's not a bad thing.
Not good, not
They
bad.
are
It's forgettable.
solidly okay. I think they all have different problems. I, for one, like He-Man's cape. I prefer it over the other capes. And specifically the skirts that make it very difficult to use the Skeletor legs. I think the sculpt and paint is really well done. I haven't seen the movie. I never will. So I don't know what they're supposed to look like, and I don't particularly care. But as toys, I think they look pretty good, especially the faces. He-Man has swords, daggers. The accessories work pretty well. The two Skeletors, both of their staves are bent, which I think could be fixed with some heat, but just straight out of the box, they're bent and warped. For the price, I would expect better articulation, at least double jointed elbows and knees. Yeah, for the price, they're okay. I'm usually the shelf toy guy. I think these would look nice on a shelf. They're just not great to play with.
I can agree with that, I think. Boom, drop that. You know what? I change it. Fuck these toys, son.
So, like I said, I wanted this He-Man and this Skeletor since I saw the movie in 1987. I even took masking tape to my original He-Man and made masking tape armor so he would look like that back in the day.
Wow.
And I painted the masking tape gold.
Damn.
So I could have that. There was a...
Oh, shit. Wow.
All right.
It wasn't his fault. You were such a fan back in the day.
So I was such a fan. I loved He-Man, and I was a huge Dolph Lundgren fan. And the fact that Dolph Lundgren was going to be playing He-Man blew my little mind. Skeletor looked super creepy back then. I loved it. I was super happy. These toys are total, I don't want to say shit, but Super 7, man, I wish I knew how bad these toys were before I gave you even more money, and now I have more toys coming from you. They all look great. They're going to make great shelf toys. You were right. The plastic that they're made of is such a lower quality compared to every single Mattel figure I have. It's embarrassing. Their joints, half of them are super loose. It's super annoying. None of my He-Man guys from Mattel had loose joints. I heard many stories about Mattel breaking, but they never had loose joints. My guys don't have joints. These guys have loose joints. Their ankles are terrible. His fucking boots, I don't know if you can see, don't even, you have to push them up, otherwise you can see through
It's gappy.
Oh, I never
his
noticed
boots.
that.
It's super annoying. I'm 99% sure that his hair is placed wrong on his head and it's crooked. I'm 99% sure on both He-Man heads that his hair is on crooked. This one has 2006 era shitty eye paint problem, and yeah, kind of disappointing. Both Skeletors are awesome for the most part, but like I said, the plastic seems totally lesser quality. Why the fuck did they give me a letter opener? He has a fucking sword. Why would he ever use this little dagger? Just sculpt that one piece, take that extra money, glue his hair on right, glue this guy's hair on right. That being said, I finally have my He-Man and Skeletor, and in 17 years when I get my other He-Man guys out, they're going to look awesome together, and I'm super happy. So I'm going to give him at 2.5. I'm going to give him a 2. He's going to get a 3, and he's going to get a 4. I have the least amount of problems with this guy. He looks awesome. That face sculpt is crazy. And the fact that they painted every little skull and patch and the redness on his hood is amazing. I love the sculpt of this head too. It's great. He-Man, I'm so pissed about He-Man, man. You totally missed the boat.
What did I give He-Man, a 3?
I don't know.
If I gave him a 3, I should have given him a 2.5.
But
Because, you know, honestly though, now that you mentioned the plastic quality, I remember picking He-Man up and thinking, this seems like thin. You know what I mean? Like a thin feeling plastic. It didn't feel like a heavy, it didn't feel even as heavy as a Marvel Legend kind of plastic.
And I hate the soft goods cape only because nobody else has soft goods. If they all were soft goods, fine. I get it. But why is his not like it?
There's some weird decisions in this wave.
I don't understand.
It's the lack of consistency between the figures that's the biggest problem.
I don't understand why their capes are folded and sculpted to look like a cape. His just looks like a shitty piece of plastic. The sculpt on this makes it look like it's kind of flowing, which, well, what? The minute I saw him in the box, I'm like, why the fuck is his hair pointing one way and his face the other? Like, I do like He-Man's Dolph Lundgren 5 o'clock shadow, though.
So you got more coming from this company?
Yep. I got their Conan #1 comic Conan coming. Their Mumra. The big
guy, I saw that.
The powered up Mumra coming from them. And I got Thulsa Doom and the 2 thugs from Conan the movie.
Worried about any of them now after seeing
I
these?
am super worried about that you can't get the head on correctly.
Yeah.
Or the hair on correctly.
Did the pre-production He-Man face look like it does here? Or did it look better?
It looked different.
If anything, this wave, this set, makes me want to go out and find an Art of the He-Man movie
Kinda.
book. And I'm sure one exists. And if you know that one does, please feel free to comment below. Let us know what you think of these toys, if you have any. If you're thinking of getting them. If you disagree with us.
I got one more thing.
Sure.
I also don't know why he has side wrists and not up and down wrists so he could hold his sword aloft properly like they made for the Mattel guy.
He doesn't look bad right there.
No, but they made the Mattel one.
So you got to hold it horizontally. Yeah.
I get it.
Sorry.
All the social media stuff is in the show notes, some at the bottom of the screen.
Fuck Wildor.
Visit Instagram to see other pictures of stuff that we may not even review or talk about. And thank you for watching any amount that you did. Thumbs up, thumbs down, all that junk. And until next time.
I have the power? Question mark. ...
We will kill you! We will! If you're under 13, don't watch video. You go home. Disgusting US dog. Parent permission. White devil. We have Tony Stark. Send us the missiles.